Well, in Kenya, it has been 1 year since the terrorist attacks on Nairobi's Westgate Mall. The survivors of the attacks still cannot shake the images of that tragic incident. For VOA, Mohammed Yusuf tells the story of victims still waiting for the answer to the question, how could this happen?
All is quiet at the now empty Westgate Mall. Construction crews are working to restore the building that a year earlier was a scene of unimaginable horror. At midday on Saturday, September 21st, 2013, 4 gunmen from the Islamist Al-Shabaab militant group stormed the mall, firing at everyone in their path, killing 67 people and wounding hundreds more. They say they did it out of revenge for Kenya's military operations in Somalia. In a series of events that are still unclear, it took Kenyan forces 4 days to declare the mall free and clear. Karsan and Harish Rabadia were the first civilians to get to the scene. One was armed with pistol and the other with nothing, as they helped the injured escape the mall. Today the two are regarded as heroes, but Karsan says behind the courage lies regret, bitterness and pain.
Those
who were killed, it's still in my mind. It's now 1 year, that's not far. It will be very hard for me to forget what happened here in my life.
Kenyan First Lady Margaret Kenyatta opened a memorial exhibit in Nairobi dedicated to the survivors, as well as to the civilians who risked their lives to rescue those trapped in the mall during the early, chaotic hours of the attack.
Our resilience is unconquerable. The unity we show in times of crisis should never be forgotten. And as I have said many times before, we should always be our brother's keeper.
Kenyans are still trying to come to grips with what happened that day. A parliamentary inquiry said the government had been warned of a possible terrorist attack on the mall. Kenyan security forces were blamed for a delayed and unorganized response that may have cost lives. And soldiers were caught on security cameras looting the mall after the attack. Ambi Gature lost his mother and his son in the attack. He and his family are still searching for answers.
Who are these people? How did they just walk into a shopping mall where all children used to go every Saturday?
Harveen Sehra, Ambi's 16-year-old niece, was shot 3 times. While she has physically recovered, she says she still thinks about it every day. Sorting through the mental images gives her some relief, but this anniversary is especially difficult.
Like if you speak to a person who hasn't lost someone, they can say, I feel a bit better after 1 year. But for us, it's still the same because we lost someone.
No one knows when Westgate will reopen, and the survivors 1 year later still feel the echoes of the terror.
Well, for more, Mohammed Yusuf now joins us via Skype from Nairobi. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello there.
Now, one of the things that came out during that attack is that security officials were fairly disorganized and coordinated, and it contributed perhaps to the loss of more lives. Since then, a year later, what has changed in terms of how the security officials coordinate?
To start with, last year at Westgate, there was utter confusion when you speak of shoppers and diners. Even security operators of the country were really confused at the scene of the horror. But the thing is, there was a problem, particularly in terms with the security, different security agents in the country, and every person was trying to do his own things. And a couple of things that came up was the issue of coordination came up, and the questions were: are you going to have a police officer going inside and doing what he's trained to do, or is going to wait for a command? Those are the issues that were raised, and we've seen situations where officers going in themselves and trying to call for backup, but no one was coming in. But 1 year later, if we fast forward 8 months since that attack, in between June and July, we had another terror attack in Lamu County, and that's in the coast region, a county that borders Somalia. We have situations where, again, terrorists coming in and attacking civilians, and at that time they killed about 100 people. And they were attacking people 2 months consecutively, maybe coming in the morning, at times at night. And to date, things have not changed. We have a curfew in Lamu County for the last 2 months.
Well, that is terrible. Now, how, to what extent did that attack and all the other subsequent attacks affect the way people conduct their lives every day in Kenya?
That has completely changed. It didn't change with Westgate. Actually, it did change when Kenyan troops went into Somalia in 2011, and we started having these grenade attacks, gun attacks in northern Kenya. But again, last year was worse because we had this terrorist attack at a mall where there were thousands of shoppers and diners. But now, since then, these days, you have incidents and situations where people are taking less time to shop, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, and people go out. People these days, they restrict their movement. And for the people, actually, if you go to a shopping mall, there's incidents where you see people on call and their family members trying to tell them, you're not going to stay there long, you make sure you come out of that place real quick. And that has changed a lot. And then there's so many security checks now in the country, even at the bus commuters where there's public sort of transport. There's that. And a lot has changed so far.
Well, Mohammed, thank you very much for your excellent reporting from Nairobi. Mohammed Yusuf, a reporter there, joining us live from Nairobi. Well, this